You know, I'm playing eighth notes and quarter notes off of the quarter note feel. But if I go down to a half note, my phrases are really different. But I'm playing from a different perspective in the beat.
Hi, I'm Matt Marvoglio, Dean of the Professional Performance Division at Berklee College of Music, and welcome to When Music Works. Today our featured artist teacher is Joe Lovano. Joe is a professor in the ensemble department, and our lesson is going to be about improvisation and playing in an ensemble. Joe is going to focus on getting your own personal sound and the different elements about playing in an ensemble: interaction, rhythm, and vocabulary. Joe's here, so let's get started. Joe, what's going on? How are you?
Hey, man, it's great to be here.
Good, it's great having you here. So what's this lesson about today? What are we going to do?
Well, I want to talk about rhythm, the development and concepts about playing within the harmonic rhythm of any given sequence of tune, within a tune, the sequence of the chords, and how that momentum is a driving force in your development of lines and creating melodies within the harmony that you're playing, but with a deep understanding of the harmonic rhythm and just the polyrhythmic concepts that are happening.
When you practice this, do you use play-alongs to practice these things, or do you have different methods of practicing them?
No, I usually try to learn a tune on my horn, unaccompanied, and in a very free manner, like a pianist would play rubato through a tune, to incorporate the bass part with the melody as I'm moving through the harmony.
So you're practicing hearing the harmonies as you're doing it because you're playing bass lines as well as like guide tones and things like that?
Really developing the sense of the theme of the tune carries you through, and then as you're developing choruses, to add the bass part with that. Not really bass lines, just the harmonic rhythm of the bass part. And then the guide tones within the harmonies that define the chord. And that those three things together, the combinations of those things, all of a sudden you're drawing ideas from all these different points. And then with your approach with the way the rhythm is, to build from the whole note and the half note and the quarter note and all the different variations that are coming off of those points in the beat, to try to hear what you're doing within a song, but unaccompanied, so there's space. A lot of times when the play-along practicing sessions, you're just playing over a track, and the track is playing all these parts, and you're not. You're focusing and trying to play what you're playing, which is good. Everything you do is good when you're playing your horn, you know. I believe, but I think when there's space there and you actually have to create the music, you have a deeper understanding of what's happening.
What do you feel that a student needs to know to get the most out of the lesson that we're going to do? Is there any technical things, or is it just availability of repertoire, the willingness to learn melodies?
You know, the awareness of those things, no matter what instrument you play.
I think that's important, like where bass players actually learn the melody.
Yeah, if you're playing bass, to study drummers and piano players and saxophone players and singers, guitar players, you know, if you're a drummer, to study piano players and saxophone players and bass players, because you know you're always accompanying. no matter what instrument you're playing. You know, and some, you know, horn players are usually the frontline players and all, but to try to have a focus on what's happening around you, all of a sudden you make a trio or a quartet feel like a quartet rather than a rhythm section and a soloist.
Got it.
You know, and that awareness is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how to do that comes with experience and confidence, and having an approach, I think, to phrasing
Mm-hmm.
and to it's almost like you're hearing yourself play with others as you're playing somehow.
Yeah, right, sure.
It's a real magical, funny place, you know.
To find that confidence and be able to attend to the music rather than worrying about what you're doing.
And leave space.
And leave space.
So you can have interaction
Mm-hmm.
within the group, you know. I'm going to trade some twos on one piece with the drums,
Mm-hmm.
but not really officially trade, like
Sure.
where the bass player stops and the drummer plays twos and then I come back in, you know. I'm going to trade twos with him as a dialogue within
Mm-hmm.
my solos, you know. I'm going to think of it like that, so that makes me leave some space, you know,
Mm-hmm.
within the music. You
Sure.
know? So you have to think about things as you're playing and try to open up doors.
Well, that seems the spot where we should go. Let's go do it.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Okay.
Thanks for joining me and being here. I want to just talk a little about improvisation, unaccompanied playing, playing in duet situations, trio, quartet. Some ideas about the combinations of conceptions within the elements of music that I think can help you develop your own approach, putting things together, with the conceptions about the beat and rhythm, harmonic rhythm, how whatever sequence of chords you're in, the momentum of your lines takes shape with your feeling about the beat and the way you could flow through sequences of harmonies and try to create melodies from an understanding of rhythm and polyrhythms to build off different points in the beat and start to create ideas from within the structure of the tune and the sounds around you, the energies around you, people that play together, accompany each other. Okay? It's not just soloist against a rhythm section. To try to feed off each other and feed each other in the moment. You know? So I'm going to start and I'm going to play on a standard song called How High the Moon. With melodies and ideas that are coming from Charlie Parker's ornithology. But I'm going to try to play it in a free-flowing manner, not just a quarter note tempo, more rubato, let's say. So you don't, when you practice, you're not practicing.
Right.
You practice playing. And then
You're
when
practicing
you play,
having fun, like playing, like you're up there playing. So
Yeah.
when you go up there to play, you're doing all those things.
But to do that also, you have to develop a repertoire. You know, and that's a very important thing in the study of jazz and improvisation, is to have a repertoire of music that you love to play, that you can explore in whatever tempo or key or rhythmic feel.
Right.
You know, to not let the song play you or the title of the song play you. A lot of times you call a tune and just the title might put you in a direction that someone else played that same tune in. You know, instead of just taking those harmonies and those melodies and try to make them your own. That's why I practice things very freely and really rubato. So I study the harmonic sequence and the intervals.
Oh, yeah.
And let the intervals of the melody vibrate in your body. So whatever tempo you play, whatever rhythmic feel you're playing in with a group, that translates into your ideas. And you can play with a flowing conception more. Okay, so when I take my horn out of the case and I'm practicing and I'm thinking about a tune, I'm trying to learn a tune, I'm trying to explore a tune that I think I know. That's kind of the approach that I take, you know, to feed off of written melodies, try to turn them around a little bit inside out, to get into the key I'm in, the different turnarounds that are happening within whatever key, and take my time as far as my phrases. Really trying to hear what I'm playing and play what I'm hearing. So it's kind of like, it's a certain meditation, you know? So I'm not practicing. I'm practicing trying to play and create from within whatever tune it is, you know? And just hearing a lot of people play since I've been up here, I think more people need to relax into their sound and into their feeling. It's real easy to let the beat play you, or let the tune you're trying to play you. Let the title of the tune play you. A lot of times the title of a song all of a sudden puts you in a frame of mind that you have to play it a certain way, you know? But to really develop a personality on your instrument, you have to take your time and build your ideas from within the elements of music that you're studying, and use the feeling of the particular song and the mood of the tune to draw from. Are there any comments or questions about that? Yeah?
What were you thinking about right before you started? Did you count yourself in, or did you?
What was I thinking? No, I didn't count myself in, because I wasn't playing in a specific tempo. I was playing in tempo. I was playing in time. But some chords I played longer. You know, I was trying to resolve and make the resolutions land, like to arrive somewhere. Now, to arrive somewhere, you have to pass through some things, you know? What I'm thinking about and what I'm trying to feel is not just each chord one at a time. It's to play through the sequence and arrive, you know? So that's what I meant at the beginning, just the momentum of the harmonic rhythm in any given tune or sequence is the flow that I'm trying to feel as I'm playing. And when you're playing with a bass player who's moving and walking through one bar into the next bar, they're arriving at that next spot. So to play with a flowing manner as a soloist with your lines, you have to feel those things, and rather than just playing on each chord by itself, you know? So when I first started, I mean, I played a little intro that led into the tune from the ending, you know? And that kind of set me up to arrive into the top of the tune, you know? Feeling the different points in the beat. And what I mean by that is, like, the quarter note is your driving force, right? Let's say I would play it with a quarter note feel. That's going to make me accent a certain way. You know, I'm playing in that, I'm playing eighth notes and quarter notes off of the quarter note feel. But if I go down to a half note, phrases are really different. But I'm playing from a different perspective in the beat. Now, if I play off the whole note, so in a way, when I'm playing off the bigger beat, I played more flurry of notes, you know? But I'm like arriving somewhere. I'm feeling the big one. So right at the very end, I went to the quarter note for the last little phrase, and my whole driving rhythm changed. So to study the polyrhythmic things that are happening from the quarter note and under, you know, the under rhythms, let's say, to draw from things that are happening from within the bigger beat gives me a lot of ideas that I draw from, that I'm trying to build melodies within the harmonic rhythm of the tune, but letting the rhythm of the beat and all the different perspectives and points in the beat influence me. I'm drawing from a lot of different places within the rhythm to build my ideas. And that's what piano players are doing, guitar players, drummers, playing from the whole note, the half note, whole note, the quarter note triplets, half note triplets, triplets that are coming off of those big beats, as well as the quarter note, the eighth note, and the 16th note. Your feel changes when you play 16th notes off of a half note or eighth notes off the quarter note. Metrically, they're the same, but the feel of them change. You know? And the thing is to be expressive, it's all about sound and feeling. How you're feeling at the moment within the music.
How did you come upon this? Was this something, because I've heard you, I've seen you in a number of different kinds of clinic settings, and this is a big part of what you try to tell students, you know, hey, you have to play unaccompanied. You have to learn how to play unaccompanied.
Well, you know, teaching a lot and talking about it, you really study yourself and how you came up, you know. And for me, hearing a lot of people play solo piano through the years made me go home and try to do that on my horn. Now, I play a single note instrument, tenor saxophone, you know. So how do you do that? You know, like to watch a piano player who's accompanying himself by playing the bass part and the harmonies and the melody and creating the whole spectrum of the song, you know. It made me really stop to think about how to try to do that on my horn. And when I did, all of a sudden I started to memorize harmonic sequences faster and deeper. I started to be able to be creative when I played with other people. Because I had the confidence in not only studying the tune, but feeling all these inner parts that were happening. So then when I heard the bass player play, I didn't have to play what he was playing, but I knew what he was playing. And I was feeling what the drummer was playing polyrhythmically around me. And then I was able to listen to the voicings that a piano player would play, the variations of sounds that were coming, and starting to hear my ideas. You know, instead of playing what you practice and then trying to play that with other people, to develop an approach to improvising from within those elements, you know. And I guess, you know, your question of how did I get it? From listening to people play and being inspired by a lot of unaccompanied solo performances.
Well, it seems like you have to use your imagination more too, because like with a play along, it's there.
It's all there for you.
You're taking a ride and you're trying to interact with it, but in this way you're using your imagination.
I tell my students, those are good if you're having a party and you don't have a rhythm section there and your trumpet player friend of yours comes over.
Right, yeah.
Have a little jam session. When you play a single note instrument also, you have to open up your conception about time and accompany yourself when you play alone. You know? Not just to focus on the melody. Everything is melody that you play. Now, to try to play and accompany yourself with the bass part, to play guide tones for yourself from the harmonies of the piano, and try to deal with the polyrhythms that are happening from the drums. Then when you play with a group, you can really relax into what's going on around you and draw ideas from everybody else's ideas, you know? To not just focus on yourself when you're with the group, but when you're playing alone, to try to accompany yourself when you're playing a tune and be the bass. Play the melody and the bass part together. Try to hear those things. You know? Also for memorizing tunes and studying standard songs. That's really the way to go about putting them together for yourself when you're practicing. Instead of just running through the scales of it all. Put yourself in the different perspectives within the whole scope of the tune, like a piano player would if he sat down and played an unaccompanied version of whatever song he was playing. He'd be playing the bass part or bass notes. I don't mean like playing on a walking bass, playing the bass part. I just mean playing the harmonic rhythm of the bass and hearing the voicings and trying to place your melodies within that, just as a solo player. You know, you start to really get yourself together. And for me, it's coming from listening to piano players play unaccompanied. Living in New York and having a chance to listen and watch and hear Tommy Flanagan and Barry Harris, Bill Evans, through the years, Hank Jones, and hearing them play solo piano really changed the way I started to hear myself when I was practicing and trying to learn a tune and trying to just play through a tune at home alone on my horn. Really opened up a lot of ideas in the world of music for me. Let's play through something. You want to play piano? We're going to play on this, I think I have it here. It's 26-2. We're going to play this John Coltrane composition, 26-2, which is based on Confirmation. But we're going to play it kind of rubato and just move through it, move through the harmonies of it. When the chord is a little longer, so we stretch out on it a little bit more within the phrase, you know? Just one chorus. Okay, now if we're going to play it more like here. 1, 2, Nice. Thanks. Okay, but now putting it together in a more free way broke me out of playing any kind of patternistic thing on it. You know, I was elongating things. But in a way, the chords were kind of moving at the same tempo. Before they were going like 1, da, do, da, do, da. When we just play, it was like da, da, do, ding, do, ba, right? But when it was like one beat of chords, so to speak, it frees me up to study the tune in a different way, different light, let's say, on the progression. Then when I played it really in time, or it was all in time, but when I played it with more of a point to the beat, more of a focus on quarter note, I was able to play really freely within it in a different way, you know? So that's what I'm kind of talking about there. Getting into the sequence of whatever you're studying and feeling it in a real open way also when you're practicing. And then as you bring it into whatever tempo you want to play, you have it in your head, you have it in your ear, and I think you can execute ideas a lot easier and freer instead of playing with such a stiff analytical approach to just the notes on the chord. But to really practice and to play alone, when you take your horn out of the case, like what do, you know?
It's part of the ensemble too, like playing alone, because I noticed that
Exactly.
you know, usually you'll have a rhythm section, but you're using all the different combinations and different styles together, and unaccompanied is
Exactly, and just playing an intro to a tune to set the piece up for wherever you want it to go, to set it up yourself, you know. Starting to do that for me without counting a tune off, like playing from the feeling of the song and trying to create a mood with the music. All of a sudden, then once you're into the tune, it becomes a much more creative journey. You know, and when you listen to a lot of recordings of Art Tatum or Bill Evans or Keith Jarrett or Herbie Hancock, you know, the way they set things up and lead into wherever they're going, they arrive somewhere all the time.
Sure.
You know? That whole flowing attitude, the awareness of that, just really helped develop a way of playing for me. It's not just like what you're playing, it's how you're playing. And that's been a big focus for me. I'm trying to talk to people about that. Was someone going to come and play some trio? So we're going to play on, we're going to play Stablemates, right? Okay, so they didn't know what tempo I was going to play. My intro, I played the first part quick. I settled into more of a freer bridge, and then kind of just went to that certain tempo that we ended up playing. But the harmonic sequence is always there. But now the polyrhythms and the subdivisions and the things that happen in the beat change. And I've never really played that tune, that slow pace like that before. But the rhythms and the things we got into, we created the tune from within the written piece. That was fun. Beautiful. Thank you. So that's what I meant before about don't let the title of the tune play you, you know? Get into what the music is and let the music kind of take you somewhere. You know, that was a nice exploration on that. And I really learned some things about phrasing and the spaces. Because the spaces between your lines are what makes your lines stand out. I didn't just play straight through all the beats and all the chords. I was trying to play within it and really hear some things and give room for some interplay that felt like a trio to me, you know? I hope it felt like a trio to you too. You could hear everybody's contribution and ideas coming through within the choruses. And that's something real important, because you want to play as a group when you play with people and create music together as an ensemble. You know, it's an experience to play music. You have to go in it. Your approach has to kind of be there. So when you go to play together, things can happen. But things happen when there's openness and space in the music. Okay, I'd like to play one more tune. Did we have Leo and these? Is everybody here, Leo? Yeah, let's play this. This is a tune of mine called The Dawn of Time. It's on a recording called Universal Language that featured a few ensembles throughout the recording. But the quartet that played this tune was Charlie Hayden and Jack DeJohnette and Kenny Werner on piano. But also on the recording is Steve Swallow on electric bass, Judy Silvano voice, and Tim Hagens on trumpet. So there's some full ensemble pieces and then different combinations of that septet. So we'll play two choruses kind of just moving through it, and then I'll set a tempo near the end of the second chorus. Okay? So just start on the first bar and follow that line that moves, okay? Yeah. Okay. That was fun. Any comments about that? That's what the essence of jazz is. It's to swing, to have fun, to hit a groove together, and to create music. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Yeah. Thanks for playing, man. Beautiful.
Wow, those guys can play.
Yeah, that was fun.
It's great.
Yeah, it's really, it's so nice to explore some music and ways of playing together.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, spontaneous like that,
Mhm.
you know, because they didn't really know what I was going to do or the tempo or the way we were going to actually play with the shape. You know, the shape takes shape as you're playing. You know, when you're really in a creative approach.
So that's what you're doing with your student ensembles here. You're trying to tease that kind of stuff out of them where they interact, respond, or
Yeah, sure.
ready to change.
Especially with these guys have been in one of my classes. That's a recital class where there's students in the class and they bring in a group. Each week I hear 2 different groups.
That's right. They're the performance majors who are getting ready to do their recitals. And
I'll tell you, it's been really beautiful. It's been a lot of fun, and I've been hearing all kinds of different people play different instruments from outside the class.
this is where they have to show their skills as a band leader too, right?
To develop as a leader and to rehearse a group and to put a form together of maybe 2 or 3 tunes, you know, in a set of music. So it's not, you know, I'm trying to get them to feel the whole performance instead of just one tune at a time, you know. We're talking about things like that.
And programming as well?
And programming, but orchestration of a set of music, like whose solos, when, how things can flow, you know. So it's a full performance, whether you're playing 1 tune or maybe 3 pieces, you know.
How do the students seem to respond to just trying things different ways? I mean, looking at it differently, you know, changing.
Well, as you could hear, I mean, these cats are really creative and they can execute their ideas.
Good sense of space too.
Yeah, so it's been really great, and I'm studying with all of them.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. That's great. Well, this has been marvelous. Thanks. It's been really a blast.
Thank you, man.
So
It's been fantastic. Man. It's
great
been
having
so
you.
nice to explore the different settings too this afternoon. Just playing duet with piano, playing trio, bass and drums, and then this final group that was a quartet. You really have to play with a sense of confidence and try to develop a free way of playing within whatever structure you're playing on harmonically. So you don't become a repeater.
Sure.
There's a lot of great players on the scene today that they play the same solo on every tune.
Right, not playing in the character of the tune or whatever.
Not creating a mood of their own,
Right.
and not really opening up for things to happen within the group, within the ensemble. And I'm trying to loosen people up so they could start listening and reacting to each other a little more freely.
Are you hearing a lot of students who would, say, copy an artist who's out there doing it and trying to play the kind of vibe that they're doing?
That's how you really start putting things together. You have people you love to hear and that really turn you on to the music, and you gravitate towards them, you know. But then after a while, you have to step through that.
That's a big point, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a hard step to make sometimes.
Finding your own voice.
To develop that approach from the earliest ages is really important, I think, you know. So you don't get caught up in just copying one player on your horn. Now, if you're a saxophone player and you love the way Chick Corea plays piano, and you focus on his playing and try to emulate something that he did on your horn, it's going to be different than trying to copy another saxophonist. You're going to have your own way of doing that on your horn. You know, it's like, I think like Art Tatum influenced Charlie Parker to play the way he played. You know? Bird didn't really copy other saxophone players. He loved Lester Young, and he definitely learned from Coleman Hawkins' flowing approach.
Sure.
But he put a lot of his things together from the way Max Roach played drums, you know, and the way Art Tatum played piano, you know, and those kinds of things, the awareness of those kinds of things really helped me start to try to develop my own sound and a way of playing. Because you have to develop your own approach within all these elements.
Right. Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent.
It was really fun to do.
Yeah, it was really great.
Thanks.
Thank you.